3.1, we are starting doing 2-digit by 2-digit multiplication. And the first lesson we'll do is multiplying by tens. This is very similar to what we started with in chapter 2. So the two ways we can kind of look at it is to use place value or to use the associative property. So with place value, we're going to take 40 times 60. We're going to think, okay, 40 times 60 is how many tens? Well, 60 I know is 6 tens. So now I'm going to go, okay, really, what's 40 times 6? From chapter 2, I know that 40 times 6 would be 240. But I can't forget this tens. That would be 240 tens. If I took all my little tens blocks, my tens strips, and drew those out and did 40 groups of 6 tens, I would end up with 240. So now I need to think, okay, tens, if I have 240 tens, that's really like saying I have 2,400. The thing that they're going to see in common with what we did in chapter 2 was I'm looking at my zeros. So how many zeros did I have? I really did 4 times 6 is 24. Added on 2 zeros. The other way we could look at this is the associative property. So 40 times 60, again, same problem. I can also think of that as 40 times 6 times 10. Now, associative property allows me to switch around my numbers and I'll still get the same answer. So I could do 40 times 6 and multiply that by 10. 40 times 6 from chapter 2, we know that 40 times 6 is 240. Now multiply that by 10, I'll get 2,400. So I got the same answer both ways I did it. The other thing, I mentioned it briefly, was that we can look at sort of our pattern, our little shortcut. And that would be to look at the zeros. So in each of these, I'm saying, okay, 4 times 6, I'm going to hide my zeros. 4 times 6 is 24. How many zeros did I take off? 1, 2, so I need to add back on 1, 2 zeros. And we talked a lot about in chapter 2 why that works. It's not just I take off 2 zeros so I add on 2 zeros. We're using those patterns. We're remembering that if we took out all those tens blocks, that's what it's reminding us of. So let's look at a problem like 20 times 90. Again, in this lesson, we're only going to have numbers that would be in the tens. We wouldn't have 21 times 93. It's only going to, each of them will end in a 0. So 20 times 90, I could do place value and say that's like 20 times 9 tens. And I know that 20 times 9 is 180 tens. That's really 1,800. I could do 20 times 9 times 10. And associative property will allow me to do 20 times 9 times 10. 20 times 9 is 180, times that by 10. We talked about in chapter 1, each time we move up in our place values, when we go from ones to tens to hundreds to thousands, that's a multiple of 10, or we're multiplying that by 10. So 100 times 10, I'm going to go to thousands, so 1,800. And again, with our little shortcut, I know that I could do 2 times 9 is 18. And then I took off 1 0 here, took off 1 0 here, so I need to add on 1 0 here and 1 0 here.